Everyone, welcome back to my channel Learning Hub. If you have not subscribed my channel, then subscribe and click the bell icon. In previous video I have explained about Jainism, and today we are starting with the Buddhism part. So Buddhism religion was the midway between Hinduism and Jainism. It was founded by Gautam Buddha. They had many followers in foreign countries also, means in abroad also, in comparison to India. Now let us talk about the life of Gautam Buddha. In the 6th century BC, India became the birthplace of popular religion known as Buddhism. So, in which century BC the Buddhism rose up? In 6th century BC. It was founded by one Kshatriya prince, that is Gautam Buddha, who was the son of Suddhodana. Gautam Buddha was the son of Suddhodana. And who was Suddhodana? He was the chief of the Sakya clan of Kapilvastu. It is in Nepal. So, it is the birthplace of Gautam Buddha. Gautam Buddha was born in 567 BC in the village of Lumbini in Nepal. Even at his young age, his mind was towards deep spiritual matters. He was not attracted towards the luxuries of royal life. He was not attracted towards the luxuries of the palace, but he was attracted towards the spiritual life. He was married to a beautiful princess, Yashodhara, and they also had a son named Rahul. Then we will talk about the Great Renunciation. Or you can say four great sites. Both are same thing. So what was Great Renunciation or the four great sites which changed Buddha? So already I have told Mahavira and Gautam Buddha, they both were Kshatriyas, they both were prince, but yet they left for the worldly happiness, for the world to make a better place. Now the Great Renunciation or the four great sites, basically what Buddha see while moving through his chariot is like rath. So he was moving through his chariot in his kingdom. Gautam Buddha saw four things. He had four great sights. What was the first one? He saw an old man. He was bent and he was walking with the help of a stick. It greatly moved Gautam Buddha. Then he moved ahead. Then he saw a sight of an old man, a sick old man. He was groaning with pain. It hurted Gautam Buddha. Third thing, he saw a dead man being carried away by four people, and that showed that basically gave Gautam Buddha about the men destiny. Then he saw a sadhu. Sadhu is an ascetic, and he was in the search of salvation, moksha. So these were the four great sights which moved Gautam Buddha. What was the first one? First one is that he saw one old man bent. He was walking with the help of the stick. Second, he saw one old man. He was crying with pain. Then he saw a dead man carried away by four people. And then he saw one sadhu who was in the search of truth. Seeing these four great sights, he left his wife and children and he went in the forest in search of truth. He left his kingdom. He went in the search of truth. So all these four great sights that he saw, that is known as the Great Renunciation or the four great sights. Now what happened was, once he moved out of his kingdom, he went to forest and there he practiced extreme austerity, severe life of penance. Extreme austerity and severe life of penance means he went into tapasya. After that, he had his enlightenment under a Bodhi tree in Gaya. And that's when he's called Buddha, the enlightened one. So, where Gautam Buddha got his enlightenment, from there he got a title Buddha. Buddha means a enlightened one. Then we will talk about Dharma Chakra Parvartan, or you can say the wheel of sacred law. Now, what is this? Once he got his enlightenment, he gave his first sermon. Sermon means a first speech. So he gave his first speech at Sarnath Pillar, the deer park at Sarnath Pillar. He gave his first sermon, first speech before 5 ascetics. So when he gave his first sermon, first speech, that is known as Dharma Chakra Parvartan, or you can say the wheel of sacred law. At the place where Buddha got enlightenment, a temple known as Mahabodhi temple was constructed later. The peepal tree is now referred to as Mahabodhi tree. Buddha was also called as Tathagat, the founder of truth. Now Gautam Buddha in the last years, he went to Kushinagar. Kushinagar is near Gorakhpur district in UP. So there he obtained Mahaparinirvana at the age of 80 at Kushinagar, and his disciples, जो उनके शिष्य थे, and his disciples took his remains to 8 different places where stupas were erected. Next we will talk about the teachings of Buddhism. So he followed a very simple path, and he told all the people, he told everyone to lead a simple life. He told that a man could attain moksha, salvation, by following his teachings. His teachings are contained in eightfold path and 4 noble truths. First we will talk about the 4 noble truths. Now the 4 noble truths that what Buddha had given were: desire is the cause of suffering. Sufferings are because we have got desires. Desires means I want this thing, then after getting that thing you want a big thing, that then okay, so sufferings are because we have got desires. So he said that if desires is not there, or sufferings will stop. For every cause there is a suffering, and suffering is because of desires, and if desires stop, then there won't be any suffering. Then we will talk about his eightfold path. First one is about the right action. So Gautam Buddha says that a man should always have good action. He should be away from any sort of luxury or theft. He should live a normal life. Then we will talk about right truth. We should remain away from evil deeds. Don't do any wrong work. Remain away from rituals. Rituals are those practices, if you remember, okay, those religious ceremonies, they are known as rituals. Then right belief, we should give up our desire. Don't have any desire, because desire will lead to suffering. Then right living, don't do any cheating. Don't do any fraud. Don't have any dishonest belief. Then right speech, we should always speak the truth. Right effort, when you do any effort, try to minimize your sins. Welfare of people should be more. Then right collection, think only good things. Don't think any bad thing about anyone. हमेशा अच्छा सोचो, अच्छी मेमोरी ही हमको कलेक्ट करनी है. Then right meditation, You should concentrate on what is right. Many do meditation, so try to concentrate on only those things which are right. Then, attitude towards the God. Buddha did not believe in the existence of God. He was always silent towards the existence of God. Though he never denied it, but still he didn't think about the existence of God. Then, code of conduct. Code of conduct means some rules and regulations. So, what Buddha says, not to lie, not to consume any alcoholic drink, means drugs and all should not be taken. Not to own a property, means don't buy a property. A person like following a religion should not own any property in his name. Okay, that's when we get desires of something big. That is why Buddha said not to own property. There should not be any violence. Okay, don't get involved in the practices of corruption. Then karma, like Jainism or like Mahavira. Even Gautam Buddha said about karma. Karma is basically once you die, your good actions and your wrong deeds are compared. If you want moksha, if you want freedom from the cycle of birth and death, you need to do good things. He stresses on karma, same like Jainism. Then stress on morality, moral behavior, that is basically good things in life along with non-violence. Because non-violence will lead to salvation. Okay, then is nirvana, it is same like karma. Salvation, freedom from the cycle of birth and death. Once you get nirvana, you will get moksha, you will get salvation. Then we will talk about universal brotherhood. Buddha preached universal brotherhood of mankind. He wanted the people to live in peace. He invited people of all the classes to join Buddhism. Even Gautam Buddha says that yajnas can't change anyone's destiny. Okay, Jainism and Buddhism, they don't believe in yajnas, yagya. Whatever is your karma, whatever is your good action, that will be your destiny. So they were against rituals. Then ahimsa, he says about ahimsa also. Ahimsa is non-violence. Non-violence towards human being, towards animal. Okay, then they had some organizations also. First one is Sangha. The organization for the teaching of Buddhism, जहाँ पर बुद्धिज्म के बारे में पढ़ते हैं वो organization क्या है? संघा. Sangha means the organization which was teaching about Buddhism religion. That organization came to be known as Sangha. And what was the membership of Sangha? The members of monastic order, they were called as bhikshuks and bhikshunis. Means the members who were living in the organization, they were called as monks, or you can say nuns. Minimum age was 15 years. Members had to take oath. The oath was Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. Okay, Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami and Sangam Sharanam Gacchami. That means I take shelter under Buddha. I take shelter under religion, and I take shelter under Sangha. The followers had to go for the training of 10 years. Then we will talk about the 10 commandments. The members of the organization, they had to live a disciplined life. They had to follow 10 commandments. They are to speak the truth, to abide by brahmacharya, means they will not get married, they will not harm anyone like birds, animals. Okay, not to own property, means not to buy any property. And it was totally restricted for them to hear music. They were not allowed to dance, and for meals also they were having fixed time. They were not allowed to take any alcoholic drink. They were not allowed to use any perfume, means scented goods. They were not allowed to keep any money. They were not allowed to sleep on cushions also. So these were the 10 commandments. When they joined Sangha, they had to follow, they had to take care of these 10 commandments. Then viharas. The bhikshus and bhikshunis were required to roam in different parts of the country for 8 months in a year. And at the time of night, they had to sleep in viharas. Viharas were like rest houses. Okay, and they had separate sections for men and women. Some special rules were also there for bhikshunis, and everything was to maintain discipline. Then we have two sects of Buddhism also, Hinayana and Mahayana. Hinayana, it denied the existence of God. It was the original sect. They did not think about Buddha as the incarnation of God. They had no faith in idol worship. They did not think Buddha as the God. He was regarded as a human being who attained enlightenment and nirvana through his own efforts. The followers, they used Pali language. Then second sect is Mahayana. They believed Buddha as the God. They worshipped images, they wrote scriptures in Sanskrit language, and the followers are found in northwestern part of India, South East Asian countries also like China, Japan. It was the combination of Buddhism and Hinduism. Then some impacts are also there of Buddhism. Okay, so impacts, first one is ahimsa. They used ahimsa, non-violence, as their weapon against wrong deeds in the society. Afterwards, Mahatma Gandhi also used ahimsa against the British rule. Then influence on religious life. It gave challenge to Hinduism. Reform movements were started within Hinduism. Then influence on social life. They told us about the weaknesses in our society. Many people of weaker section, they got opportunity to speak in the matter of social and political life. Then political impact. Many rulers, they made this religion as their state religion. Shakyas, Vajis, Malas, they all accepted Buddhism. Then cultural impact. Buddhism was spread out in foreign countries like in Southeast Asia, China, Sri Lanka. It created contacts between India and those countries because of this religion. Then language and literature. They produce their literature. Okay, they produce their literature like Triptikas and Jatakas. They were in Pali language. Other than this, they produce their literary works in Sanskrit language also. Then art and architecture, as the gateways and railings of Sanchi Stupa were covered with sculptures figure. They constructed many cave temples which were decorated with very beautiful paintings. Paintings by watercolor. The Gandhar art was also developed under Buddhism patronage. It was developed in Punjab. Then we will talk about the decline of Buddhism. First is a split in Buddhism. Already I have told Buddhism was divided into two sects, that is Hinayana and Mahayana. Beside these two sections, 16 other sections were also there. So कोई किसी को follow कर रहा था, कोई किसी को, somebody was following one section, other was following another section. So it brought many changes. It divided the Buddhism religion. Then language. Their teachings were in Pali language. But after his death, what happened? They also used Sanskrit language in some of their literature. Then corruption in Sangha. The bhikshus and bhikshunis They started living a luxurious life, which was against this religion. Then reforms in Hinduism. The reforms in Hinduism started with full strength. Appeal of new religion was stopped. Many foreigners they adopted Hinduism as their religion. Then invasions also. Many Turkish they looted their wealth. They plundered the monasteries of Nalanda and Takshila. Monks were forced to leave to other countries like Nepal and Tibet. Then end of royal patronage. Rajput rulers were unable to follow the policy of ahimsa, so it brought decline of Buddhism. Then we will compare both the religions. Some similarities are there, some dissimilarities are there. So what were the similarities between these two religions? Both Mahavira and Gautam Buddha they belong to Kshatriya clan. They wanted to attain salvation. They never accepted Vedas. They both followed the policy of ahimsa. Monks and nuns of Jainism and Buddhism they left their family life. Then we will talk about dissimilarities. Jainism they believed in strict life, while Buddhism they followed a middle path. Jainism was founded before Mahavira. As you know, Mahavira was the 24th Tirthankara, while it was the new religion found in 6th century BC. Buddhism was spread out in foreign countries as well, while Jainism was spread out in India only. These are the dissimilarities of Jainism and Buddhism.